Hey guys! So today I am downstairs in the grow area, I guess that's what I'll call it. And I have a couple different things that I'm going to work on today. So you can see right here, these two plants that are in front of me, these are two guava trees that my dad actually got from one of the guys that he works with. He likes to grow a lot of tropical stuff, kind of like me. And so he gave my dad these two guava trees. They were probably at about maybe this height when I first got them last September, I want to say. Had them for about 6 months or so, maybe a little bit longer. And since then they've put on a ton of growth. If I bring them a little bit closer, you can probably see a little bit better. What I did was they were growing as pretty much just one main stem. So I cut it right, I don't know if you could see it, right about here. And that's why you can see that there's these two stems right here. So I'm just trying to encourage it to have more outward growth and not just straight upwards, or at least have more branches, not just one main branch. And then I did the same thing with this one, just a little bit smaller, but still pretty much the same thing. So ever since I've gotten them, because I got them when it was just starting to get cooler outside, I've had them inside the entire time. They've always been under grow lights. Thankfully I've had them under pretty good grow lights. And I've also had a fan on them over the winter, so that way they could toughen up a little bit. They could build their cell walls. So what I'm going to do though is, these are the original pots that I got the plants in, and they're very tiny. They're maybe 4-inch pots or something like that. They're also pretty root bound, and they can dry out pretty fast just because of that. So the other day we got these two terracotta pots. Does it say what size they are? 10 inches. They're 10-inch pots. It's quite a step up, to be honest. However, since it's March, it's gonna start to get a lot warmer outside in the next month or two, and typically around the beginning to middle of May, I'll start to move some stuff outside for the summertime that's tropical. I move my banana plants outside and that kind of stuff. So these are gonna kind of go with that regimen where I'll just bring them outside seasonally, and then I'll bring them inside for the winter time. But I figured they're probably going to grow quite a bit this year. So I figured going from really tiny to a larger pot size is okay. But the general rule when you are transplanting stuff is to try not to go super crazy, I guess. Try to go just one step up pot-wise. But I think these will be okay. Also, I will mention, speaking about that, that I had a banana plant a number of years ago. And this actually was on the first YouTube channel I made, although I don't even know what happened to those videos. I can't even find them anymore. But I got a banana plant that I ordered through a catalog, and it was a Musa Dwarf Cavendish, so it was just a regular tropical one. It came in a pot this size, and I put it in, not even joking, a pot this size. It was like a 24-inch diameter pot. It was absolutely massive, and it did totally fine going from a tiny pot to a giant one. So I don't know how important that really is, but I would say just generally maybe try not to do that. But I don't think it'll necessarily kill your plant. So anyways, I'm just going to transfer these over. And then the other thing I was going to work on was I have this tray right here. This is the Gardener Supply Grow Ease tray. I can't think of exactly what it's called. This is the self-watering tray. So I don't know how well you can see. I have basil plants in here right now. And then I'm going to be starting some new seeds today. So I've got the Fireaway Hot and Heavy Peppers, sweet peppers, just regular red ones. I have some broadleaf sage. I have some eggplant, Burpee's Black Beauty, and then the Black Beauty. And it's about 8 weeks from our last frost. And all of the the information on the back of all these packets says to start them in between 6 to 8 weeks or 8 to 10 weeks. So this is around the time to start everything now, just so it gets to be a good size before I plant it out in the garden. So I'm going to work on this after. This will be pretty quick. It's really just planting the seeds in here. But I wanted to include that in the video, just so that way you guys that are following my videos, you can see what I'm actually starting from seed this year, because I'll be providing updates. I'll do a transplant on that. And that'll be pretty much it. The other thing too, which I gotta go around and grab it, gotta go all the way around the table over here. Those basil plants, because they're a good size now, they've been growing for maybe a month now at this point. I'm gonna use, it's called Dr. Earth Pure Gold Organic Pump and Grow All-Purpose Plant Food. So it's basically just an organic plant food. So I got this yesterday. So I'm just going to fertilize those basil plants for the first time because now's the time that you can do that. However much it says to put in there, I'll put like a half strength. I don't want to give it too much fertilizer, but I'd rather give it something, just so that way they really start to grow. So I'm just going to be doing that, and then we'll be done. So the first thing I'm going to do, obviously, is work on these. So I already started to pre-moisten some soil in here. This is Pro Mix. I have it back over here, but I'll put a picture on the screen. I pre-moistened some of this. I'm going to be using this. What I will say is I've used a number of different types of potting soils, and some of them are obviously better than others, but I really like the Pro Mix because it's not super expensive. You get a lot in the bag. And it's a really high quality mix. You don't find weird stuff in there. Like I've used mixes before where they have like plastic in there, like mixed in. So I definitely like the Pro Mix. So I mean, it's pretty straightforward what I'm going to be doing. I'm just gonna put the soil in there, and I probably have to mix it a number of times because this pot is honestly smaller than, or this bowl is smaller than the pot. So I'll probably have to fill it up like maybe 3-4 times. So I'll speed up the rest of this, and then I'll just show you up close once I'm done. Okay, so I have these 2 pots full, as you can see, and I'm really just gonna make a hole, pop the plant in, and I'll be good. I didn't add any fertilizer or anything because there's some fertilizer in the Pro Mix, and they're going into new soil anyway, so there's plenty of nutrients already in there. But I'll probably add something, maybe like at the beginning of May, I would say, like right when I'm ready to like bring them outside and they can grow for this season, I'll give them like some plant tone or something like that, just so that way they can really like get going and they'll have some food, but they'll be good for now. They've been growing too quite a bit, but they seem to be really vigorous plants, and I can only imagine what they're gonna grow like when they're actually outside in the sun too. So I'm just gonna pop these in there, and then we'll be good. Now, one thing I will say while I am doing this is that I do not have much experience with these plants. I've never actually grown them before, and I don't even know that much about guavas. So this will be a learning experience as I go through all this. But that's kind of what it is for everything, to be honest. All right. But yeah, you can see they're pretty root. I don't even have a light. They're pretty root bound. Maybe you can see that. I know I need to get some lights. Anyways, so this can go right in there. The plants are really healthy though. Even though they were root bound, they're still super, super healthy. But they'll definitely benefit from getting, from being in a much bigger pot. Especially because I won't have to worry about watering them as much. And I can give them like more water at a time, less frequently. So I think they'll be really, really happy. So this one's in there. Now, one thing I will say too is I could plant these separate. I could do, or not separate. I could plant them together in one pot if I want to, but I figured I would keep 2 just because I'd rather keep them, like if I need to like separate them at one point, keep them in separate pots, or I also really, I actually don't really know how big these are going to get. I'm sure I can always trim them to be like whatever size I want them to be. But I want to make sure that they have plenty of room for each one of them to grow. So if they're each in a separate pot, I think they'll do pretty well. There's a couple like dead leaves at the top, so I'm just gonna get rid of that as well. But yeah, you can. This one's pretty root bound as well, but it's not crazy. They're starting to develop some larger roots though, which is good. Because I mean they are trees, so that does make sense. Let's see, I'll put this in here. And when I am planting them in here, I know you can't see it super well, I'm not putting the soil any higher than what it was before. That's a really important thing, especially for like trees and other stuff like that, like woodier things. You don't want to cover the plants any more than they already are covered. All right, so those look pretty good. So, and they actually, I have to say, especially this one in particular, they fit these pots pretty well. Like they're pretty big enough where it kind of makes sense. Now, one thing I will say too is they've been growing really, really well lately. And I did cut the tops of each one of these so that way they could have a little bit bushier growth, but you can tell that it's still pretty vertical. So I think what I'll end up doing is as these branches grow, all these individual ones, I'll snip them off. And actually, I'll bring the camera a little bit closer so you can see. All right, this is what I was talking about before. Now you can see it. So right here is where I originally snipped off the the main leader, and then you can see it split into two. So it'll encourage it to have like bushier growth, not be as crazy, and you can see that it has two going out that way, and then also two further down. But what I'll do is, as it grows, to encourage more bushy growth and not it to be just like up and down, I can snip them off over like another leaf node. So see how there's those two leaves there? So for example, if I snip it off right here, what'll happen is there's two leaf nodes at the bottom, and that'll be two more branches that grow out. So there'll be one here, there'll be two there, and then two there. So instead of having just two, now there'll be four that are growing out, and then, you know, it'll double from there if I keep doing that. And I definitely want to do that in these lower areas too, because then it'll create even more bushy growth as it goes out. So, and I'll do the same thing with this one. So just, I mean, it's basically the same height as the other one, just a little bit shorter. All right, so now we're on to this. You can see the 4 basil plants that are right here. This one I actually hit a little bit before, so I'm just gonna fix that real quick. The basil has been growing really, really well. This is just called Basil Genovese. That's the variety. And then here's what's a little bit interesting. So in this row, I have rosemary. Now, I planted rosemary here, and I also planted rosemary in my winter sowing method, and neither one of them came up. And I'm not sure if it's because, I want to say it possibly is because rosemary it needs light in order to germinate, and I think I covered them, so that might be it. But it also could have just been the seeds, so I'm not really sure. I'll probably end up, if I have some time this week, I'll get some more rosemary seeds and try it out, and then I'll also do some more research to see if that is true about rosemary. If any of you guys know in the comments, let me know. But I'll definitely try to look it up. But what I'm going to do today is I have the 2 varieties of eggplant that I was saying, and then I have the sage, and then the 2 types of peppers. So what I'm going to do is I have 4 rows left. I think I said they're 2 different varieties. These, I believe, are both the same variety. I think they're just 2 different names from 2 different years, because I think I got this in 2018 and this in 2019 or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, so I think what I'll do is I'll do 1 row of eggplant, 1 row of sage, 1 row of sweet peppers, and then 1 row of the hot peppers. Also, I'll add one more thing. The watering trays have been working flawlessly, except for, or I guess not flawlessly. They've been working really well, but this one cell in particular has been drying out, and I don't know why. I haven't had any plants in it so far, so it's not really an issue. I just don't know why it's like that. So I don't know. I'll have to take a look in here. But this has been working out really well with the tray down here. So, anyways, so yeah, I'm just gonna. I'll speed up the process on this, and then I'll add labels to everything, and then I just want to fertilize this basil last, and then I'll be done. Just wanted to point this out. Look at what I just found in this soil. Let's see if I can focus on it. I don't really know what this is. I think that there's a name for it. I think you find it in on rocks or something. But this is the, in fact, I might have the bag around. It's the soil from Gardener's Supply. It's like the organic one. That's really interesting. I'm gonna leave it in there. All right, so I'm opening up the Fire Away hot and heavy peppers. So this is from Proven Winners, by the way. These are I guess special seeds. They're not the cheapest, but I've heard that they're worth it. And oh my God, look at this. This is what you're paying for. So they come in this little special pouch, but look, they have their own tag. Oh wait, it's on the other side. Look at this. That's so cool. I love it. I wish other plant brands would do that. That's so awesome. But yeah, these are special seeds, so you gotta use them up. Okay, so I actually just read the packaging on this, and I didn't realize that it said soak seeds for 2 to 8 hours before planting them. And because these are such special seeds, I'm absolutely gonna follow that. So I'm gonna soak those seeds, and then I'll just plant them later on. Okay, so it is about, I think, 2 or 3 weeks after from when I just did everything else. I never got around to actually posting the first part of the video, so I figured I would just kind of extend it and then show you me planting everything else. So it's like we're in the first week of April right now, so we're about 6 weeks or so, 6 to 8 weeks from our last frost. So I'm going to be starting my next batch of seeds right here, because this stuff just needs to be started a little bit later. So just to show you, I have, these are Garden Treasure from Proven Winners, or this is Proven Harvest actually, but Garden Treasure, Garden Gem, Good Hearted. Oops. So the Garden Treasure are going to be the largest. These are like a good slicer tomato. The Garden Gem are like a snack-sized tomato. Snack-sized. Yeah. And then the Good Hearted are like a cocktail tomato, like little cherry tomatoes. Besides that, I have zinnias. Now, I know that zinnias, you don't necessarily need to plant those in the, you don't need to start them ahead of time. You can plant them right out, but I'd rather just start them now and then put them outside so that way we can get blooms just a little bit earlier. So anyways, besides that, I have candy cane mix. So you can see that these are kind of like a striped mix. Cut and Come Again. And then Envy. I really like the very chartreusey green color that these ones have. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm still going to use this, the Grow Ease seed starting tray. I just walked out of the frame. That's so funny. I'm going to be using this. And then you can see that it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Different rows. So I'll do 4 of each plant. So it'll be enough for each packet. I think that'll be enough plants for now. And then we should be good. And then I think this is all the seeds that I'm going to be starting for the season. I'm not going to be starting anything else. We might get it, depending on how much space we have in the garden or what I want to grow, we might get some plant starts from, there's a garden center that has a lot of stuff like that. So I might get something. I kind of want to grow some lettuce, and I haven't started that from seed, or not from seed. I haven't started any of that from seed yet. So I might direct sow some stuff into the ground. I probably won't buy any plant starts. So I might do some other things that can be directly sown into the ground once it gets to that season, or that time anyways. But this is probably the majority, 90% of the stuff I'll be growing for this season. So anyways, so I'm just going to show you that real quick, and then we'll be done. All right, so I got both of these trays under the grow light here. I guess they're a little off center, but that's okay. So you can see how these have done after about 2 weeks, I would say. The basil's been growing. This one has burned a little bit for some reason. The other 3 haven't, and I don't know if it's because I have the grow lights on for too long or anything, but I don't know. I'm just going to keep an eye on it. It seems to be okay. What I will say too is when I planted that rosemary originally, it didn't grow for some reason. I have no idea why. So I had some seeds from a friend that were lavender seeds. So I'm just going to try it. I just figured I'd throw them in there and just see what happens. The eggplant has started to come up. So 3 of those cells are up, and there are 2 in this one. So for some reason that one never comes up, then I can just move one of them over. The broadleaf sage has not come up yet. The big red sweet peppers, it looks like 3 have come up, nothing in the 4th. And then the Proven Winners peppers, I think it was in this cell or this cell, there was a seed that was starting to come up. I don't know if I can find it in here. But there was a seed somewhere in there that was starting to come up, but I know that the peppers can still take a little while. So those have done, for the most part, pretty well. I know that most of those seeds do take some time to come up, so I'm just kind of giving them their time. And then those will do that. I might actually put a heating mat at the bottom over here, and I might take them out of these self-watering trays for now just to see if that might help with the germination rate, but I'll see if I want to do that or not and see how it fits in there. All right, well, that's all the seeds that I'm going to be starting for this year. Hopefully we'll be getting the garden in sooner rather than later. we've been having some issues with actually like trying to get wood for the raised garden. Just because I don't know, apparently ever since the pandemic, it's been really hard to get wood for some reason. So we're working on it. I think we're okay. I think we might be able to get it some point this week or something like that. So we're gonna be working on that in the next couple weeks. But for now, these seeds will be growing. The only thing I'm concerned about would be this basil. Oop, wrong way. This basil over here, because it is getting kind of large, and I think it might still be a little while before we have to put it out in the garden. I would like to put it in the ground and not in pots, but we might need to bump it up in pot size and just do something like that. So I'll just keep an eye on it, and if the root systems get really big, then I might put it in something larger. But once they start growing, I'll pinch them off too, so they start to grow more out than up. But I don't need to worry about that for at least another week or so. So besides that, I hope you guys like this video. I hope it was informational for you, so you could just see like how I'm starting all the seeds this year, and I for once finally have like a really good setup on how to get them growing, and I've seen pretty good success so far. Nothing's really been leggy or anything like that, which is a problem I've had in the past, starting them in front of windowsills or using like fluorescent lights or something like that. So I feel pretty good about this year. One more thing that I will say is about the zinnia seeds. I didn't use the majority of the zinnia seeds, to be honest, for each one, just because I was starting only 4 cells, and I even put like 4 or 5 seeds in each one, and I'll thin them out. So the rest of those seeds, I'll probably just direct sow them right into the ground. I'll probably just plant them around where I plant these starts, but I just kind of wanted to start them from seed just to see how it was. It's kind of more an experiment for me than anything else. So yeah, that's all I have for today. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.